Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. So today we're going to take a look at this Work Sharp outdoor knife and tool sharpener. So I didn't know about this. I probably had seen it. Welcome back, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. So today we're going to take a look at this Work Sharp knife and tool sharpener. If you follow my channel, I've done numerous videos on different style of sharpeners, and if you're like me, you've always struggled with sharpening knives. I had an uncle that could just put a razor edge on anything. I mean, it was just amazing, his talent, and he used to sharpen my knives and all that. So but I always struggled with it. So that was an issue with me, and I've tried different sharpeners, the manual ones and things like that. And I come across, a friend of mine told me about this sharpener that he had seen, some videos and some reviews and on Amazon and things, and he had told me about it. And so I got to look at it and doing a little research myself, and I reached out to the company to ask would they like us to do a review, and they sent us a few products over. Today we're going to take a look at this particular one here, and then I've got another product I'm going to review at a later date once I get a little time on it. So I've had these for about 4 or 5 days now, and I've used this one a lot as of the last 2 or 3 days, sharpening all kinds of different style knives and everything. And in my opinion, this is the best knife sharpener I've ever had, and I've had all kinds. So a lot of times we get lazy and we get what I call the cheap, they're kind of the cheater sharpeners that you kind of put in and you grind the knife back and forth and that sort of action. That's what we had in our kitchen, and a lot of my knives in my kitchen had gotten dull. And I just really wasn't going to bring myself to try hand sharpening all those knives. It would take a while, just not that good at it. I knew I'd get frustrated. So first thing I did was start grabbing kitchen knives when I got this thing out of the box, kind of read over some instructions, and I noticed that I was probably doing a technique wrong, and we'll discuss that a little bit in the video here. So I'm going to put in the section below down there some video links of some really good details. Pay attention because it does matter. It's not 100% dummy proof, this sharpener's not, but it is very close to dummy proof. You about can't mess up if you follow the simple, easy, basic instructions and tips and tricks in a couple of those videos. So another thing that I'll mention, price point on this, excellent. It's less than $70 including shipping. So I think it's like $67.84, something like that on Amazon. I will have a link again in the section below to our affiliate store where you can find this knife sharpener. Doesn't cost you any more to purchase through that system than it does your regular Amazon store, so or your Amazon purchases. So they sent it out. I started using it, and it is electric belt-driven system. It will come with the box, come with detailed instructions. It will come with a couple different guides that I'll discuss here in a second in the video. It'll come with 2 sets of belts. They're identical. So in other words, there'll be 2 of each of these belts. There's 3 belts total, starting at a coarser grit all the way down to a fine honing style surface. Quick reference guide you'll get, and so forth. So let's take a look. Move the box out of the back here a little bit out of the way. So with this system here, you can sharpen almost anything. You can sharpen scissors, you can sharpen lawn and garden type stuff, you can sharpen a lot of different things, kitchen knives, scissors, hunting knives, you name it, you can sharpen it with this. So another thing to think about with this system, because of the price point, you literally could create yourself a second income. Most people are going to get anywhere from $5 to $15, depends on the knife and so forth, to sharpen. You could easily buy a couple of these, set up at some gun shows, charge $5 a pop, whatever. If you want to charge $3 a pop and do knife sharpening throughout the day, you could do that. So this is an economical way to get into the knife sharpening business and do it very professionally. So what you got here, it is belt driven. It has feet, rubber feet, so it sits on the ground, on the table, on the surface, flat. It has a momentary on, like that, and then it has a manual, just leave it on. Now, we'll discuss about the buttons and why you're only going to use the momentary on like that most of the time. So again, starts out with different belts. I have the honing belt on it now. And then it has these different guides. So this one is for serrated knives, 65-degree scissors, and 50-degree knives, which is typically more of your hunting style profile of edge. These simply slide in through that little fork kind of groove there. Then you have this one. This one is for your 40s. So this right here is more for kitchen knives, right? So this right here simply slides on, goes just like that. So the technique is going to be explained in those videos that I'm going to share, but I will share you a couple really quick tips that I want to bring to your attention, because this is very important when it comes to this. So I'm going to show you how easy it is. You have guides here that you lay the knife in. Now this right here, this knife in particular is not really set up for this guide system. So, but I'm going to show you anyway. You would stick the knife in there before you ever turn it on, and if you look, you would push the knife slightly that direction. So that's going to push the edge of the blade against that belt, spinning belt. You do not push down, and you do not put a lot of pressure on anything. Use the weight of the knife. Obviously grip it so it doesn't go anywhere. Once you get it down into the groove, turn it on, slide the knife back towards you, and stop the blade halfway onto the belt. And I'll show you what that looks like going this direction. So again, watch. Once I get to right there, that's halfway, I stop. Turn the motor off. Same thing, go back. Now, because each knife has a different blade profile, right? So this one kind of goes up like that. You would kind of follow that contour of the blade also when you pull the stroke through the machine. So in other words, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to slightly go up as I get to the end, as the curve goes. If this was a straight edge, I would just go kind of straight across. So like a scissor, in other words. So if scissors have a straight edge, that's what you're going to do. So you would do a different technique for each side as far as the way you lean the knife. So this side, the same thing, except I'm going to lean the blade this way. Same thing, pull it through and come to the end and stop. Halfway. Put it back. Stop, like that. So that's what you would do, and I'll show you the edge in the light if I can. It gives a very, very professional edge. It does not damage anything or any of that. Now, one tip I will tell you, if you've got a really expensive knife and you do not want to scratch the surface of your blade here, blue painter's tape is what you need to use to cover that first prior to doing it. So if you got a really expensive knife, don't want to do it, I would use this with my most expensive knife. I don't care if it's a $300 knife, I would still use this product for it. I would just make sure I taped up the blade. I would not be scared to use this setup with a very expensive knife. So just to kind of give you an idea. One thing you don't want to do is turn the machine on, jam the knife down in here, and start pulling. All the way, and don't pull it all the way through. You're going to round that tip, will be the first thing you do, along with you're going to damage this profile right here. So just be careful of that. So just kind of showing you a few things here. This is not a total how-to that I want to show or instructional video, because there's others out there. So you're going to get the unit and the two guides. You're going to get the belts, starting with the most coarse all the way down to this honing. Now, one thing they do recommend, if you've got these honing belts and they get worn, really worn, don't throw them away unless they're frayed or damaged. Get you some jeweler's rouge. It's usually like a red paste. Dab on here, and then you can use it even further as far as honing down. Changing the belts is really simple. I prefer not to leave the guide on. You can do that when you're changing belts, but to change the belt is very simple. You push down, pull the belt off. That is a spring right there. So to change it, if I wanted, say I just finished sharpening one knife complete and I wanted to go back. One thing I would do is I kind of worked all knives with one belt first, then went to the second the second belt, and then worked the rest of the knives that I wanted to do that day or that particular session that I was working on some knives. So you have a guide, you kind of go around, get it in there like that, push down. It's got a little tab here, push down, slide your belt on. One reason this thing is hard to damage knives, really, You could, I guess, anybody can damage, you know, if you work hard enough at it, but it's kind of foolproof. It's because of this spring tensioner. Watch this spring right here. See what I'm saying? That's what causes it to go along the profile of just the edge based on the guide that you are in. You know, the profile, right? So, one thing, once I get the belt on, I will test it like that. That kind of seats the belt into the proper area of the machine and make sure it works correctly before I would come in and then put the guide back on the unit here. Like that. Oh, I had to turn around, sorry. So, that gives you an idea of how that works. Just slide that down. And now, if I had a knife that needed more of this coarse edge, I could do that. So this knife here had a really bad edge. One tip I will give you real quick that's also mentioned in there is you want to make sure that you'll never get a sharp knife unless you get a burr. My uncle always told me that. So you have to get an edge that has both edges have a burr. And what it is, it's rolling that metal over on one side just a little bit. You don't want it just where it's just really exaggerated, but just enough burr, and then that will cause that to be able to get honed up really nice once you get that. But in my opinion, I'm sold on this thing. Matter of fact, I've already bought one, and I'm probably going to buy 2 or 3 more for Christmas gifts. So once I got it in, tested it, I highly, highly recommend this machine. If you ever wanted, even if you are great at knife sharpening, and unless you enjoy it. Now, my uncle just enjoyed the time and just kind of, it was one of his hobbies almost. He enjoyed that. I get it, but if you're looking for something that you can get into really quick and easy and sharpen knives and do a really nice professional job, this right here would be it. They do make another version of this called the Ken Onion model. Ken Onion is a knife maker that collaborated with this company to make a little bit of an upgraded version, if you will, of this particular setup. But for $67, $68, I guess, right around there, including shipping on Amazon, great product, and I highly, highly recommend it. I'm excited about having it. Like I said, I've already bought one. I'll probably buy at least 2, maybe 3 more as Christmas gifts at this point to give away to different people that I know. But anyway, guys, hope that was helpful. If you got any experience with this particular knife sharpener, chime in. Gets excellent reviews everywhere I've seen, Amazon and everywhere. Usually the ones that have a negative review, it's user error that I've seen based on some, if they would have paid attention to the tips and tricks videos that are out there, then you would learn. Say one of the complaints was it rounded the tip of my knife off. Well, that was because they didn't do what I showed in the video by stopping and that sort of thing. So there is some technique to it, but once you get it going, it's really simple and easy and quick. Anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you got any questions, post those below. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Bring another video shortly. Have a great day.